The alarms didn't start with a scream, they started with a glitch. At exactly 2:17 a.m., every major Cient fandom dashboard, Weibo, Douyin Lofter Tieba, flashed the same impossible notification. Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan spotted together again. No photo. No timestamp. Just a single line that detonated like a bomb thrown into a sleeping city. Within 90 seconds, thousands were awake. Within 5 minutes, the hashtag storm had begun. And within 10, the quiet night had transformed into a battlefield. People swore they saw the notification. Some said it was a hack. Others believed it was an accidental leak from a private fan group. And a very bold few claimed it was a sign. Whatever it was, it triggered the exact emotional earthquake everyone feared. Fan Wars 2.0. The last war had been bad. This one, however, was already mutating into something darker. Bo Jun Yi Xiao shippers flooded timelines with, "They must be filming something secretly." Yibo solo fans issued immediate counterstrikes. "Stop dragging him. Stop inventing nonsense. Move on." Screenshots flew, insults multiplied, comment sections burned. And in the middle of the newly ignited chaos were two names, Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, who remained silent as always, while their fandoms tore each other apart like storm winds ripping through tangled branches. By 3 a.m. the city was awake. By 4 a.m., rumors had become miniature fires feeding on paranoia. And by sunrise, one truth became unmistakably clear. The conflict hadn't returned by accident. It had been waiting, dormant, brewing, hungry. Now the war was back and it wanted everything. What made Fan Wars 2.0 so vicious wasn't just the incident. It wasn't the phantom notification or the lack of proof. It was the history. The thick, layered, deeply emotional history that had built up since the Untamed. To outsiders, it was just a fandom fight. To anyone inside, this was a resurrection. Yibo-Fans insisted they were protecting him from being shipped against his will. They argued that every time he achieved something new, a film award, a dance performance, a racing victory, someone dragged Xiao Zhan's name into it, overshadowing Yibo's individual journey. To them, the shipping community wasn't just annoying. It was an active threat. A threat to his privacy. A threat to his independence. A threat to his image as a solo artist. They had scars from old battles, old accusations, old misunderstandings, old wars fought in comment threads until their thumbs ached and screens overheated. But on the other side, Bo Jun Yi Xiao shippers weren't delusional dreamers. They were passionate historians. Their world revolved around micro-expressions, shared memories, behind-the-scenes clips, unspoken chemistry, and a romance that lived in interpretation. They weren't attacking, they were preserving. To them, the bond between Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan wasn't just a ship. It was a legacy. Something rare. Something cinematic. Something worth defending fiercely. And when the notification appeared, for one breathless second, they thought their legacy was coming back to life. But instead of joy, it triggered a war. Because the timing was suspicious. Because the tension had been simmering. Because the tiniest spark was all it took. And so the war spread. It began with words. It escalated with screenshots. It exploded with evidence. Someone dug up an old interview where Xiao Zhan mentioned a good friend he missed. Someone else shared a clip where Wang Yibo smiled when asked about past partnerships. Somebody super-edited the two clips together until it looked like a coded love confession. Yibo solo fans fought back with timestamps, context, and rebuttals. Shippers responded with emotion, poetry, and narrative. Both sides had their own truth. Both sides believed they were protecting something precious. Neither side could afford to lose. Fandom analysts, media bloggers, and gossip pages amplified everything, turning the conflict into a digital storm that sucked in millions. Algorithms loved the chaos. Trending tags multiplied like wildfire. Hashtag Yibo ship toy. Hashtag BJYX is real. Hashtag respect artists. Hashtag let them be. Hashtag you can't erase chemistry. Hashtag protect Wang Yibo. Hashtag protect Xiao Zhan. Every tag pulled someone into the fray. Every video added gasoline. Every comment added a spark. Suddenly, it wasn't just about two celebrities. It was about identity. It was about territory. It was about who had the right to define the narrative. Meanwhile, deep inside a private fan forum, someone posted something that shifted the war entirely. A blurry nighttime video. Two silhouettes walking side by side into what looked like an underground parking garage. One silhouette wore a cap. One wore an oversized hoodie. Both moved with a familiarity that felt intimate. The caption read, "Is this them? If not, why does it look exactly like them?" Within minutes, the video spread. Within hours, a rumor formed. Within half a day, it took over the internet. Shippers celebrated. Solo fans went into full defense mode. The neutral group said, "It's blurry pixels, calm down." But it didn't matter. Because the internet doesn't do calm. The internet does collapse. This video, real or edited, became the anthem of Fan Wars 2.0. The chaos grew teeth when online detectives arrived. Frame-by-frame analysis. Shadow trajectory comparisons. Walking posture identification. Shoe brand matching. Cap angle studies. Door reflection enhancement. People weren't just arguing, they were investigating. Some claimed the taller silhouette walked exactly like Wang Yibo, slightly forward-leaning, athletic, low center of gravity. Others claimed the hand movement of the second figure matched Xiao Zhan's habit of adjusting his sleeves when nervous. Yibo solo fans countered with physics, disproving shadow lengths and environmental inconsistencies. Shippers countered by saying emotional truth mattered more than photorealistic analysis. And so the war spiraled. Amid the digital firestorm, major media outlets began dropping think pieces about fandom toxicity. Some blamed shipping culture. Others blamed restrictive fandom rules. A few blamed the industry itself. But nobody blamed Wang Yibo or Xiao Zhan. Because deep down, everyone knew the truth. These two weren't the cause. Their connection was. Or, the imagined version of their connection. Or, the emotional echoes they left behind. The war was never really about them, it was about what they represented. Freedom versus boundaries. Romance versus realism. Art versus interpretation. Ownership versus respect. Fan Wars 2.0 was the inevitable collision of two worlds that could not coexist, but also could not live without each other. By nightfall, the online chaos reached its peak. Counts banned. Comments deleted. Hashtags frozen. Screenshots archived. Threads locked. Yet the war kept going, leaking into backup accounts, Discord servers, private groups, fandom spreadsheets. Everywhere passion lived. It wasn't dying. It was transforming. Because a fight like this doesn't end with silence. It ends when someone finally steps in and breaks the loop. And for the first time in years, whispers began circulating. Would Wang Yibo or Xiao Zhan finally say something? Would their silence break? Would the war force a response? Nobody knew. But everyone could feel it. The storm wasn't ending. It was waiting. For the moment both sides feared. For the moment both sides secretly craved. For the moment that could either destroy the fandom forever, or resurrect it into a legend. The glitch that started everything. That single phantom notification at 2:17 a.m. kept echoing like a digital ghost long after the uproar began. What nobody knew, not even the most obsessive fandom investigator, was that the glitch wasn't a random technical hiccup. Came from somewhere, and something. Because as the fandom war raged, a strange pattern began to appear. Every hour on the dot, a new mysterious account surfaced, posting cryptic messages that seemed purposely crafted to aggravate both sides. The first message appeared at 3:17 a.m. Some connections never fade. Even in the dark. At 4:17 a.m. The past always finds a way to return. At 5:17 a.m. If you saw them, would you even believe it? Each message was anonymous. Each message vanished minutes after posting. Each message hit exactly the weak points of both fandoms, fanning flames until they grew into firestorms that consumed entire comment sections. Was it a hacker? A fan? A troll? A disgruntled insider? Nobody knew. But the timing was too perfect, too calculated, and yet too chaotic to be dismissed. Meanwhile, the grainy parking garage video spread like a virus, mutating in real time. Every hour, a new version appeared. Stabilized, color-enhanced, zoomed, slowed, reinterpreted, dramatized with background music, or deconstructed in forensic detail. To some, the footage showed nothing but two random men walking. To others, it was the closest thing to a proof they'd had in years. To the most dedicated theorists, it was a breadcrumb leading to something larger. The comments under the video were a war zone of their own. Look at the gait. That's Yibo's walk. Stop forcing this narrative on him. The sleeve adjustment. Xiao Zhan does that. It's called human behavior, not a love signal. This is them. You can't gaslight us. Stop dragging my artist. Between the lines of rage, heartbreak, and determination, one unspoken current buzzed beneath the surface. Everyone was afraid. Everyone was hopeful. Everyone wanted answers. But the answers only grew more distant. The chaos intensified when someone uncovered a piece of information that sent chill waves across the internet. The parking garage from the blurry video wasn't random. It belonged to a building both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan had visited years ago, when they were filming The Untamed. And not just any building. One of the few locations where fans couldn't reach. Private facility. This single detail detonated across the fandom like a grenade. Suddenly, it wasn't just some men walking. It was possibly them walking in a location tied to their past. Shippers rejoiced as if destiny itself had resurfaced. Solo fans doubled their defenses, accusing shippers of stalking, delusion, manipulation, psychological projection, anything to regain control of the narrative. And the internet rewarded all of it. At 10 a.m., just when everyone thought the day had reached peak insanity, a new leak emerged. This time a voice recording. It was barely 7 seconds long. Muffled. Echoed. Ambiguous. Two voices. Young. Both speaking in short sentences that nobody could properly decipher. But one moment stood out. Two quiet syllables, almost whispered. Yibo. The recording went viral instantly. Shippers saw it as fate. Solo fans saw it as an attack. Neutrals saw it as insanity. Media outlets saw it as free content and posted articles within minutes. The fandom, already on the verge of collapse, snapped further. People stayed awake even though their eyes burned. They typed even though their hands trembled. They argued even though they didn't want to fight. They scrolled even though the chaos made their hearts pound with a mix of excitement and dread. Because deep down everyone felt it. Something was happening. Something big. Something strange. Something that wasn't normal fan outrage anymore. This was different. This was personal. The breaking point came at noon. A popular blogger dropped a live stream with the headline, "The truth about the glitch. You won't believe this." There were more than 300,000 viewers before she even spoke. Her lighting was dramatic, her voice urgent. "I have spoken to someone who claims to know what triggered the 2:17 a.m. notification." The chat exploded. Who? Spill it. Name them. Stop clickbaiting. If you lied, I will report you. The blogger took a deep breath and said, "It wasn't a glitch. It was a scheduled alert from a private fan group." But here's the crazy part. It wasn't scheduled for public release. It was an internal alert. Something leaked it. Before she could say anything more, her stream cut off. Instantly. Silently. Like someone hit a switch. Viewers were shocked, suspicious, terrified. The interruption felt deliberate. As if someone didn't want her to speak. And suddenly, a single question flooded every corner of the fandom. What were they trying to hide? When a battle reaches this height, it stops being a conflict between groups. It becomes a psychological thriller. People stopped focusing on Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan as individuals. They started treating them like secrets, like codes, like hidden storylines in a drama none of them had been cast in but all of them were obsessed with. Screens glowed in dark bedrooms. Notifications shook phones on silent mode. Fans across time zones synced their sleep to the war's rhythm. A rhythm that pulsed with adrenaline, obsession, and fear. The fandom world was no longer divided into sides. It was divided into realities. One side saw patterns everywhere. One side saw coincidences. One side saw conspiracies. One side saw destiny. One side saw psychological warfare. One side saw sabotage. Nobody saw peace. By sunset, a new rumor erupted. A rumor so powerful that it drowned all other noise. A real insider is coming forward tonight. Nobody knew who. Nobody knew how. Nobody knew whether this insider was legit. But hope and fear are powerful fuels. And the fandom was already running on both. So the digital world held its breath again. Waiting. Staring at screens. Anticipating the next explosion. Because Fan Wars 2.0 wasn't a fight anymore. It was a storm. Mystery. Psychological maze. A war without rules. A drama without script. A blackout waiting for the light. And everyone, every fan, every watcher, every lurker, knew one thing. Whatever was coming next wouldn't just shake the fandom. It would rewrite it.